Welcome to a land where time stands still, yet every moment pulses with life. A place where golden deserts stretch beyond the horizon, rugged mountains pierce the sky, hidden valleys cradle flowing water, and oceans kiss the shores in endless rhythm. This is Oman, a country of contrasts, of ancient traditions, and breathtaking landscapes that defy imagination. Join us on a journey through dunes, wadis, mountains, and coasts, and discover the secrets of a land that has inspired travelers for centuries. From the first ray of sunrise to the star-studded desert nights, Oman is waiting to reveal its magic, and today, we experience it all. Before the world learned to move fast, before glass towers rose from sand, there was a land where time chose to slow down. A land shaped not by haste, but by patience. This is Oman, a place where mountains stand like ancient guardians, deserts breathe in silence, and the sea carries stories older than memory. From the very first moment, Oman does not demand your attention, it earns it. Here, the air feels different, calmer, cleaner, as if the land itself invites you to pause, to observe, to listen. Oman is not a destination built for spectacle. It is a land of depth, where beauty unfolds slowly, revealing itself layer by layer to those willing to look beyond the surface. Stretching along the southeastern edge of the Arabian Peninsula, Oman has long been a crossroads of civilizations. Traders, sailors, and explorers once passed through these shores, carrying frankincense, spices, and stories across oceans and deserts. This legacy still lingers not in ruins alone, but in the character of the land and its people. The landscape shifts dramatically as you travel. One moment, jagged mountains rise sharply against the sky. The next, endless dunes roll like golden waves. Coastal cliffs plunge into turquoise waters, while hidden valleys shelter life in the most unexpected ways. Oman does not confine itself to one identity. It embraces them all. Yet what truly defines Oman is not just what you see, but what you feel. There is a sense of balance here between tradition and progress, nature and humanity, silence and sound. Modern roads cut through ancient terrain, yet villages remain rooted in customs passed down for generations. Progress exists, but it never overwhelms. Hospitality in Oman is not performative, it is instinctive. A warm greeting, an offered cup of coffee, a quiet smile, these gestures reflect a culture built on respect and generosity. In Oman, visitors are not rushed, they are welcomed. The architecture mirrors this philosophy. Buildings blend into the environment rather than dominate it. Whitewashed homes reflect the sun. Forts rise naturally from rocky outcrops, and mosques stand with quiet dignity. Nothing here screams for attention, everything belongs. As the sun moves across the sky, the land transforms. Morning light reveals sharp textures and shadows. By afternoon, the heat softens, colors into warm tones. And at sunset, Oman becomes almost unreal skies, painted in gold, crimson, and violet. Mountains glowing, deserts breathing out the day's heat. Silence plays an important role here. In the desert, it is vast and humbling. In the mountains, it feels protective. Along the coast, it is broken only by waves and wind. This silence is not empty, it is full of presence, offering clarity rarely found elsewhere. Oman teaches patience without words. It reminds you that not everything must be rushed, documented, or explained. Some places are meant to be felt more than understood. This journey is not about ticking destinations off a list. It is about immersion, about stepping into a land where history is alive, where nature leads, and where simplicity holds profound beauty. And this is only the beginning. Ahead lie elegant cities shaped by the sea, sacred spaces of faith and artistry, deserts that stretch beyond imagination, hidden oases carved into stone, towering mountains that touch the clouds, and a culture that has endured with quiet strength. Oman does not reveal itself all at once. It invites you to journey deeper slowly, respectfully, and with open eyes. Muscat does not announce itself with noise or spectacle. It arrives gently, carried on the sound of waves meeting stone, on the scent of sea air mixed with frankincense, on the sight of white buildings resting quietly between mountains and ocean. This is a capital city that refuses to overwhelm, choosing harmony over height, tradition over excess. Set along the Gulf of Oman, Muscat stretches like a ribbon between rugged cliffs and deep blue water. The mountains rise abruptly behind the city, dark and protective, shaping every road and neighborhood. They are not a backdrop, they are part of daily life, reminding everyone here that nature always comes first. As morning light spreads across the city, Muscat reveals its character. Streets remain calm, traffic flows without urgency. There is space to breathe. Unlike many capitals, Muscat feels personal, almost intimate, as if the city prefers conversations over crowds. At its heart stands a profound symbol of Omani identity and faith. The Sultan Qaboos Grand Mosque rises with graceful authority, not towering aggressively, but commanding respect through elegance. Its vast courtyard reflects the sky, while arches and domes balance precision with artistry. Every detail from carved stone to intricate patterns speaks of patience, devotion, and craftsmanship. Inside, silence carries weight, inviting reflection rather than distraction. Moving toward the coast, Muscat opens itself to the sea. The Corniche curves gently along the water, offering views where fishing boats glide past modern yachts. Here, old and new exist without conflict. Traditional doughs still depart at dawn, just as they have for centuries, while cafes welcome visitors seeking shade and conversation. In Mutra, the soul of Muscat feels closest to the surface. The Mutra souk pulses softly, with life not chaotic but alive. Narrow passageways lead through stalls filled with silver jewelry, hand-woven textiles, spices, and frankincense that has defined Omani trade for thousands of years. Shopkeepers greet visitors without pressure, conversations unfolding naturally, as if time itself slows within these walls. Above the harbor, historic forts stand watch. Jalali and Mirani rise from the rocks, their presence a reminder of Muscat's strategic importance through centuries of maritime trade. From these heights, the city below appears calm and orderly, protected by both stone and sea. What sets Muscat apart is restraint. There are no skyscrapers competing for attention. Buildings remain low, colors muted, designs respectful of their surroundings. This deliberate choice preserves sightlines to the mountains, the sea, and the sky elements no structure is allowed to overshadow. As the day warms, life shifts indoors, and the city enters a quieter rhythm. Afternoons are unhurried. Even commerce seems to pause, acknowledging the power of the sun. This natural pacing defines Muscat's identity, a city that adapts to its environment rather than forcing control over it. When evening arrives, Muscat transforms again. Lights trace the coastline softly. The mountains fade into silhouettes. Families gather along the waterfront. Children play. Conversations drift through warm air. There is no rush to leave, no pressure to perform. The city feels lived in, not staged. Muscat is not built to impress from a distance. It reveals its beauty through presence, through balance, calm, and authenticity. It is a capital that listens more than it speaks, offering a rare example of progress without loss of identity. Yet beyond the city's gentle rhythm lies a world of raw landscapes and ancient stories waiting to be discovered. Mountains carve paths into the sky, deserts stretch into infinity, and hidden valleys conceal life against all odds. The road begins to rise, and with every curve, The world below slowly falls away. Muscat fades into the distance, replaced by stone and sky. This is the realm of the Hajar Mountains, a dramatic spine that cuts across northern Oman, shaping the land and the lives of those who call it home. Here, the air cools, colors deepen, and silence grows stronger. The mountains appear sudden and uncompromising. Jagged peaks stretch upward like ancient monuments, their faces carved by wind and time. There is nothing decorative about this landscape. It is raw, powerful, and honest. Yet within this harshness lies remarkable balance. Life has learned how to survive here, adapting quietly and intelligently over centuries. As the road climbs higher, villages emerge where you least expect them. Small settlements cling to cliffs and hide within valleys, built from stone that mirrors the mountains themselves. These villages do not dominate the land, they blend into it, almost disappearing when viewed from afar. This is architecture born of necessity and respect. Terraced farms carve green steps into the slopes, defying gravity. Date palms, pomegranates, and apricot trees thrive where it seems impossible. Water flows through ancient falaj systems, engineering marvels designed centuries ago to channel mountain springs across vast distances. These channels are not relics, they are living systems, still sustaining communities today. At higher elevations, the landscape opens into wide plateaus. The most famous among them offers views that feel endless. Standing at the edge, valleys plunge thousands of feet below, and the sky feels close enough to touch. Wind moves freely here, carrying cool air and a sense of clarity that sharpens every thought. In the villages of the mountains, time follows a different rhythm. Mornings begin early, evenings arrive quietly. Life is shaped by daylight, seasons, and the availability of water. Technology exists, but it does not erase tradition. Elders pass knowledge through stories, gestures, and daily routines rather than written records. Paths wind through rocky terrain, connecting homes, farms, and lookout points. These trails have been walked for generations by traders, farmers, shepherds, and travelers. Each step follows history, even if the land itself bears no visible marks. The mountains also hold memory. Ancient watchtowers rise from ridges, placed strategically to guard valleys below. They speak of a time when survival depended on awareness, unity, and preparation. Even now, their presence adds a quiet sense of protection to the land. As the sun moves across the sky, the mountains transform. Morning light reveals sharp edges and deep shadows. By afternoon, the stone glows in shades of amber and bronze. And at sunset, the peaks soften into silhouettes against skies painted with fire and gold. Night arrives swiftly in the Al-Hajar. Temperatures drop. Stars appear in overwhelming numbers, unobstructed by city lights. The silence becomes profound, broken only by wind moving across rock. In these moments, the scale of the world feels vast, and human presence feels small yet deeply connected. The Al-Hajar Mountains do not entertain. They challenge. They remind you that beauty does not always seek attention. Sometimes, it stands quietly, enduring through centuries. Descending from these heights, the land changes once more. Stone gives way to sand, and the horizon begins to stretch without limit. Ahead lies a place where silence becomes infinite, the great deserts of Oman. The mountains release their grip, and the land begins to open. Stone fades into sand, color drains into warm gold, and the horizon stretches until it feels endless. This is the Wahiba Sands, a vast sea of dunes rolling across eastern Oman, where movement is shaped by wind and time flows without measure. At first glance, the desert appears empty, but the longer you remain, the more alive it becomes. Dunes rise and fall like frozen waves. Movement is shaped by wind, and time flows without measure. At first glance, the desert appears empty, but the longer you remain, the more alive it becomes. Dunes rise and fall like frozen waves, their curves softened by constant motion. No two shapes are ever the same. The wind redraws the landscape daily, quietly reminding you that nothing here is permanent. As vehicles leave the paved road behind, the desert announces itself through sensation. Tires sink into sand, sound disappears, distance loses meaning. The world simplifies to sky, sand, and breath. In this vastness, even small movements feel significant. The color of the Wahiba Sands shifts throughout the day. Morning light paints the dunes pale gold. By midday, they glow in deep amber and copper. As the sun lowers, shadows stretch dramatically, carving patterns across the sand. At sunset, the desert becomes almost unreal, crimson and orange hues burning against a softening sky. Despite its harshness, life thrives here. Desert plants anchor themselves deep beneath the sand, drawing water from hidden sources. Insects move swiftly to avoid the heat. Camels travel patiently, perfectly adapted to this environment. Every form of life here understands restraint, efficiency, and balance. For centuries, Bedouin communities have called this desert home. Their knowledge of the land is intimate and precise, reading wind direction, tracking water sources, and navigating dunes without maps. Their relationship with the desert is not one of conquest, but coexistence. In Bedouin camps, simplicity becomes comfort. Tents rest lightly on the sand, designed to move as easily as the dunes themselves. Hospitality is immediate and genuine. A shared meal, warm tea, quiet conversation, these moments carry weight in a place where survival depends on trust and generosity. As evening arrives, the desert transforms once more. Heat fades quickly, replaced by cool air and stillness. The sky deepens into indigo, then black, revealing stars in astonishing clarity. With no artificial light to compete, constellations spill across the sky, stretching from horizon to horizon. The silence of the Wahiba Sands is unlike any other. It is not empty, but complete. There is no distant hum, no echo of civilization, only the sound of wind shaping sand grain by grain. In this silence, thoughts slow and awareness sharpens. Sitting atop a dune at night, the desert feels timeless. The same stars watched over travelers centuries ago. The same wind traced these same paths. The desert does not rush forward, it endures. By dawn, the desert awakens gently. Light spills across the dunes, revealing fresh patterns created overnight. Footprints vanish, tracks disappear. The land resets itself, erasing yesterday without effort. Leaving the Wahiba Sands is not about escape, it is about transition. The desert teaches humility, patience, and presence. It strips life down to its essentials and reminds you how little is truly required. Just when the desert feels absolute, water appears. Not as an ocean or river, but as something far more intimate and unexpected. In Oman, water carves its presence quietly through stone, creating places of life where none should exist. These are the Wadis' hidden valleys where time, rock, and water meet in perfect balance. The transition is sudden. One moment, the land is dry and open. The next, towering canyon walls rise on either side, guiding the eye toward pools of clear turquoise water. Palm trees lean toward the shade, and birds move freely where silence once ruled. The contrast feels almost unreal. Each wadi has its own personality. Some open wide, welcoming sunlight and movement. Others remain narrow and secretive, revealing themselves only after careful exploration. Water flows gently here, shaped by seasonal rains that travel from the mountains down through these ancient channels. The stone tells its own story. Layers of rock reveal millions of years of change, sculpted by water that arrives briefly but with purpose. Smooth canyon walls bear the marks of countless floods, powerful reminders that even in the driest landscapes, water always finds a way. Stepping into a wadi feels like entering a sanctuary. The air cools instantly. Sound returns in soft echoes, trickling water, rustling leaves, distant footsteps. Life gathers naturally around these places, drawn by necessity and comfort alike. For local communities, wadis are more than natural wonders. They are lifeline. For generations, families have relied on them for irrigation, farming, and daily survival. Ancient falaj systems guide water from these valleys to nearby villages, ensuring that nothing is wasted. Date palms grow tall along the banks, their roots reaching deep into moist earth. Fruit trees thrive under their shade, creating layers of green against pale stone. This vertical harmony, rock, water, and vegetation, defines the wadi ecosystem. Swimming in a wadi is an experience unlike any other. The water is cool, clear, and impossibly calm. Each step into the pool feels like a reward earned through patience. Surrounded by canyon walls, the world above disappears, replaced by quiet immersion. Sunlight filters down in fragments, reflecting off the water's surface and illuminating the stone beneath. Every movement sends ripples of light across the canyon walls. Even stillness feels alive here. As the day progresses, the wadi shifts again. Shadows lengthen. The temperature softens. Sounds deepen. Time feels less structured, less urgent. People linger not because they are lost, but because there is no reason to leave quickly. Paths weave along the water's edge, connecting pools, farms, and small settlements. These routes have existed for centuries, shaped by footsteps rather than machines. Every turn carries history, though nothing is written. Yet, wadis are also reminders of nature's power. During heavy rains, they can transform rapidly, filling with rushing water that reshapes everything in its path. This dual nature, gentle and fierce, demands respect. As evening approaches, the wadi settles. Light fades into stone. Water grows still. The surrounding cliffs seem to close in protectively, holding the day's warmth just a little longer. Leaving a wadi feels like waking from a dream. The desert and mountains reclaim the horizon, but something remains, a reminder that life persists even in the most unlikely places. Ahead, the journey moves toward the edge of the land, where mountains fall into the sea and Oman reveals yet another face. Beyond the valleys and hidden pools, the land opens once more, stretching toward horizons where sand meets stone and stone meets sky. But now, the journey shifts to a different form of vastness, the coastline of Oman, where the desert dissolves into turquoise waters. Jagged cliffs rise from the sea, and the air is alive with salt and wind. Here, the rhythm of life is dictated not by sand or stone, but by waves and tides. The coast is a place of contrasts. Rugged cliffs plunge dramatically into the Gulf of Oman, their faces carved by centuries of wind and water. Between these cliffs lie secluded coves and small beaches where the sand is fine, soft, and almost untouched. Fishermen's boats bob gently in quiet bays, their colorful hulls reflecting in the morning light. The sea is at once calm and commanding, a mirror to Oman itself, serene yet undeniably powerful. Along the roads that trace the coastline, the scenery changes with every turn. Rocky outcrops give way to mangroves, while small villages cling to shores where waves meet stone. Life here thrives in harmony with nature. Crabs scuttle along sandbars, seabirds glide in effortless arcs, and fishermen tend their nets, just as they have for generations. Time flows differently along these waters. The world moves with patience, measured by tides rather than clocks. The Dhofar region, in the south, adds another layer to this coastal story. During the Kharif season, monsoon winds sweep across the mountains, bringing mist and verdant life even near the shore. Waterfalls tumble from hills into hidden pools, and the scent of wet earth mingles with salt from the sea. Here, Oman's coastline becomes almost tropical, offering a striking contrast to the golden sands and rocky mountains inland. Forts and watchtowers dot the coast, silent guardians of history. Their stone walls rise above the water, overlooking the same seas that once carried traders, explorers, and invaders. Frankincense ships sailed these waters centuries ago, linking Oman to lands as distant as Africa, India, and Arabia. Today, these ruins stand as reminders of Oman's strategic importance and its long-standing connection to the ocean. The beaches themselves tell stories of solitude and reflection. Walking along the sand, footprints are quickly erased by tides, leaving no trace of human presence. Waves crash and recede rhythmically, a meditation in motion. Here, one can feel both infinitesimal and integral, a participant in a timeless dance between land and sea. Coastal life is deeply tied to sustenance and culture. Fishermen rise before dawn, setting out in small doughs to harvest from the generous waters. Markets brim with freshly caught fish, octopus, and shrimp, while families gather to share meals rich with flavor and tradition. The ocean provides not only food, but inspiration, shaping architecture, clothing, and even song. As the sun dips toward the horizon, the coastline transforms once again. Golden light illuminates cliffs, turning stone into fire. The sky reflects on calm waters, creating illusions of infinite depth. Evening brings a soft hush, broken only by the distant call of seabirds or the gentle lapping of waves. This is a place where the day ends with reflection, where beauty is subtle yet overwhelming, and where the connection between human and nature is unmistakable. Yet, even amidst calm, the coastline reminds travelers of the sea's power. Storms rise suddenly, waves crash against cliffs with thunderous force, and tides carve new shapes into the sand. Respect is demanded here, not through fear, but through reverence for the forces that have sculpted this land over millennia. Night along Oman's coast is incomparable. Stars spill across the sky, mirrored faintly in the water below. Fishing lights twinkle from the horizon, small signals of life in a vast, silent expanse. Bonfires illuminate secluded beaches, and whispers of wind carry stories from generations past. In these moments, the sea becomes not only a boundary, but a storyteller vast, enduring, and mesmerizing. The coastline of Oman teaches patience, humility, and observation. Every wave, every cliff, every hidden cove holds a lesson. To walk these shores is to understand a rhythm older than any city, older than any desert, yet as present as the heartbeat of those who live here. As dawn arrives the next day, the journey moves inland once more, rising into the mountains of Jebel Akhdar, where terraces, villages, and canyons await a stark contrast to the open, flowing expanse of the coast. Rising from the coast, the land climbs steadily into the Hajar Mountains, where altitude brings both perspective and wonder. Known as the Green Mountains or Jebel Akhdar, this region feels worlds apart from the deserts and shores below. The air grows cooler, scents of wild herbs and fruit trees mingle, and villages perch gracefully on cliffs and plateaus, as if carved by the mountains themselves. From the moment the first switchback appears, it's clear that life here demands patience and resilience. Roads wind through dramatic canyons, each turn revealing vistas that seem impossible to capture fully. Terraces stretch across steep slopes, a testament to human ingenuity. Farmers have carved step-like gardens into rock, sustaining fruit, pomegranates, roses, and almonds for generations. The land is nurtured, yet never tamed, a delicate balance between human ambition and natural power. Villages cling to cliffs with quiet dignity. Whitewashed homes with flat roofs are interspersed with date palms and stone walls, creating a mosaic of tradition and practicality. In these highlands, time slows. Mornings arrive with mist curling around jagged peaks, while evenings descend gently, leaving a soft hush in the valleys. Life follows the rhythm of sunlight, water, and the seasons rather than schedules or technology. Water flows here with purpose. Ancient fallage irrigation systems guide mountain springs through channels that feed terraces, gardens, and villages. These channels are engineering marvels, built centuries ago, yet still in use today. Every drop is precious, every turn calculated, and every stone in the channel placed with foresight. This living system links communities to the mountains in ways that are both practical and spiritual. The terraces themselves are mesmerizing. From a distance, they appear as emerald stairways suspended in the sky, each one meticulously maintained. Walking among them, the smell of fresh earth mixes with the aroma of blossoming roses and fruit trees. Small streams trickle between terraces, inviting reflection and quiet contemplation. It is a landscape that teaches humility. Humans are stewards here, not conquerors. Beyond the villages, mountains rise even higher, leading to canyons and cliffs that test the imagination. One of the most dramatic is the edge of the Grand Canyon of Arabia, where sheer drops reveal the scale of Oman's geological history. The interplay of light and shadow across jagged peaks creates constantly changing patterns, painting the mountains with golds, browns, and muted reds. Standing at the precipice, the wind cuts sharply across the face, carrying both silence and awe. Life here is not just about survival, it is about integration. Villagers tend orchards, shepherd goats, and harvest crops, all while maintaining connections to the modern world. Roads connect these highlands to Muscat and other cities, yet the essence of Jebel Akhdar remains untouched. Markets carry fresh produce, traditional crafts flourish, and festivals celebrate life in ways that honor both community and environment. The mountains are alive with colors and sounds. Birds flit through terraces and valleys, their calls echoing against stone. Flowers bloom defiantly in cracks of rock. Even insects and small animals participate in a delicate choreography of survival. Every detail, a rustling leaf, a flowing stream, a chirping bird contributes to a symphony of life that is both subtle and profound. Sunsets in the mountains are transformative. The horizon melts into layers of blue and violet, while cliffs and terraces glow softly in the fading light. Shadows lengthen dramatically, and the world feels simultaneously immense and intimate. Night brings clarity. Stars blanket the sky, far from the glare of city lights, and the mountains exude quiet strength. Silence here is not emptiness, it is presence, a deep resonance that fills every corner of perception. Jebel Akhdar teaches endurance, patience, and observation. It shows how humans and nature can exist in harmony, each respecting the other's power and limitations. Here, Omani life is distilled to essentials: water, food, community, and connection to the land. Descending from these heights, the journey continues to explore Oman's southern regions, where rainfall brings greenery and the Dhofar Mountains transform the desert into a lush paradise. The journey now moves further south, where Oman's landscape surprises and enchants in ways few expect. Here, the Dhofar region unfolds like a hidden world, lush and verdant, shaped by the seasonal Kharif monsoon that transforms the arid Arabian Peninsula into a land of misty hills, cascading waterfalls, and emerald valleys. The contrast to the deserts, mountains, and coastline traveled before is breathtaking, a reminder that Oman is a land of extremes and secrets waiting to be discovered. As the mist rises in the early morning, rolling over hills and weaving through palm groves, the air carries a cool freshness that contrasts sharply with the heat of the northern deserts. The Dhofar Mountains, once barren during most of the year, become alive with greenery, ferns, and flowering shrubs. Water trickles from unseen springs, feeding pools and streams hidden between the hills. Every step into this landscape feels like entering another world, untouched and almost magical. The city of Salalah is the gateway to this lush expanse. Unlike Muscat, Salalah moves at an unhurried pace, its streets shaded by coconut palms and lined with simple homes. Markets brim with the aroma of fresh fruits, frankincense, and spices, reflecting the region's historical role in global trade. Frankincense trees, whose resin shaped the wealth and culture of Oman for centuries, dot the mountainsides. Their gnarled trunks and golden sap remind travelers of a heritage that connects the local landscape to the farthest reaches of the ancient world. Beyond the city, the Dhofar countryside opens into rolling hills and hidden valleys. Waterfalls tumble over cliffs, creating miniature oases that invite pause and reflection. Streams run over moss-covered rocks, and birds dart between branches, adding movement and sound to the otherwise serene environment. Hiking through these hills, one encounters villages that appear almost suspended in time, where traditional mud brick houses blend seamlessly with the landscape. Locals tend their fields and livestock with quiet diligence, following rhythms dictated by water, sun, and season. The monsoon's arrival, typically between June and September, transforms the Dhofar region into something almost mystical. Mist clings to cliffs, light refracts through droplets, and waterfalls swell with energy. The greenery is vibrant, almost overwhelming to the senses. Every hill and valley seems alive, and the contrast between the wet south and the arid north becomes a living lesson in the diversity of Oman's climate and geography. Coastal areas in Dhofar also reveal unexpected beauty. White sands meet the Arabian Sea, and small fishing villages continue centuries-old practices of sustenance from the water. Boats with painted hulls glide across calm bays, their reflections shimmering beneath the sun. The coastline here feels remote, peaceful, and timeless, a quiet counterpoint to the verdant inland hills. Evening in the Dhofar region is a sensory experience. The sky melts into shades of orange, pink, and lavender, and the mist rises once again, wrapping valleys and hills in ethereal softness. The sound of flowing water, rustling leaves, and distant calls of wildlife creates a symphony that feels both intimate and infinite. Nightfall brings stars in staggering clarity, far from city lights, and the mountains exude a tranquil power that fills the soul with reverence. The Dhofar region is more than just a landscape, it is a testament to adaptation and harmony. Life here thrives by following natural cycles, respecting the land, and preserving traditions. The frankincense trees, ancient irrigation systems, and local crafts all reflect a culture intertwined with its environment. Visitors quickly understand that beauty here is not only visual, but deeply experiential. It is heard, felt, and breathed in. Leaving the green hills of Dhofar, the journey prepares to return inland toward the ancient deserts and canyons that shaped Oman's identity. The contrasts experienced from mountains to deserts, coast to lush monsoon valleys, reveal a land that is endlessly diverse, where every region offers a new lesson, a new perspective, and a new awe-inspiring view. As the lush greens of Dhofar fade behind, Oman reveals yet another of its astonishing contrasts. Remote deserts and hidden southern valleys, where silence reigns and the land stretches untamed to the horizon. Here, The journey takes on a meditative quality. Every step, every turn, every grain of sand feels intentional, as if the earth itself is teaching patience, endurance, and reverence. The southern deserts are deceptively simple at first glance. Golden dunes ripple endlessly under the sun, their shapes shifting with the wind. But as you venture deeper, subtle patterns emerge, faint trails of wildlife, hardy desert shrubs, and the occasional oasis, where palm trees and fresh water create a small, perfect world amid the vastness. The scale is humbling. Standing atop a high dune, the human figure feels infinitesimal against the ocean of sand and sky. Oman's southern valleys offer an equally profound experience. Carved over millennia by rain and river, these hidden canyons harbor life against all odds. Faillage systems, ancient irrigation channels, carry water through narrow passages, supporting agriculture in places where survival seems impossible. Terraced fields cling to steep slopes, their greenery striking against barren cliffs. Villages, often centuries old, perch precariously along valley edges, demonstrating resilience and harmony with nature. The interplay of light and shadow in these deserts and valleys is mesmerizing. Morning sun casts long, crisp shadows across dunes, highlighting their undulating beauty. By afternoon, the heat softens the lines, transforming the sand into a glowing canvas of gold and amber. Sunset, however, is magical. The horizon ignites in deep oranges, reds, and purples, and every ridge, every dip, every curve is bathed in fleeting brilliance. At this hour, the desert becomes almost sacred, and time seems to stretch infinitely. Life in these remote regions is defined by simplicity and endurance. Bedouin communities move fluidly across the dunes with camels, their knowledge of the land honed over generations. They read the wind, track water, and predict weather with an intuition born from centuries of observation. Hospitality is their natural language. Travelers are welcomed, offered shade, tea, and stories that link the present to a distant past. The nights here are extraordinary. With no city lights to intrude, stars explode across the sky in breathtaking clarity. The Milky Way stretches from horizon to horizon, mirrored faintly by the subtle glow of the desert. Wind whispers across dunes, carrying the faint scent of dry earth, and the silence feels almost tangible, heavy, profound, and endlessly calming. In this solitude, reflection becomes inevitable. Thoughts slow, worries fade, and the vastness encourages humility. Despite its apparent harshness, the southern deserts are teeming with subtle life. Lizards dart across sun-warmed sand, insects scuttle unseen, and small desert plants bloom defiantly where moisture allows. Even in the remotest valleys, water sources attract birds and small mammals, creating microcosms of life that persist quietly and efficiently. Nature here is both delicate and relentless, teaching lessons of resilience and adaptability. Traveling through these regions, one cannot ignore the history embedded in the land. Ancient trade routes once crossed these deserts, linking Oman to Arabia, Africa, and India. Caravans carried frankincense, spices, and goods across the dunes, guided by stars and experience. The same landscapes that challenged traders centuries ago continue to challenge modern explorers, preserving a sense of connection to the past. The southern deserts and valleys reveal the duality of Oman. Stark yet beautiful, harsh yet nurturing, silent yet alive. They are a place of endings and beginnings where travelers leave behind the known and embrace a deeper awareness of scale, endurance, and presence. As dawn approaches, the horizon hints at the next phase of the journey. Mountains, deserts, and valleys have shown their extremes. The journey through Oman reaches its final chapter. But this is not a conclusion, it is a reflection. Every dune, mountain, wadi, and coastline experience so far converges here, revealing the soul of Oman. It is a land of contrasts, of enduring traditions, and of landscapes that feel both eternal and intimate. To understand Oman is not simply to see it, it is to feel it, breathe it, and allow its rhythms to enter your own. As the first light of dawn spreads across the mountains and deserts, the land seems to awaken with gentle pride. The golden hues of the Wahiba Sands merge with the cool shadows of Jebel Akhdar, while the Dhofar hills retain their verdant glow from recent rains. Water trickles softly in hidden wadis, and the sea reflects light like a living mirror. Everywhere, life exists in quiet balance, and the harmony of nature becomes impossible to ignore. The people of Oman are at the heart of this balance. Hospitality is not a performance, but a culture woven into everyday life. In villages, families share meals and stories, while elders pass knowledge of the land, its flora, fauna, and history to the next generation. In cities like Muscat, traditions coexist with modernity, creating a rhythm of life that feels deliberate, thoughtful, and deeply human. Respect, patience, and pride define every interaction. Architecture across Oman reflects this philosophy. Whitewashed homes, intricately carved forts, and majestic mosques blend seamlessly into their surroundings. Nothing dominates. Everything belongs. Structures echo the land's contours, colors, and textures, demonstrating a respect for nature and history. Each building tells a story of faith, of protection, of enduring beauty. The natural landscapes, however, are Oman's most profound storytellers. The desert teaches humility, patience, and perspective. The mountains teach resilience, foresight, and harmony. Wadis reveal life thriving in unexpected places. The coastline and Dhofar hills demonstrate abundance, contrast, and adaptation. Each environment, distinct yet interconnected, forms a mosaic that mirrors the depth of Oman's identity. Time in Oman is experienced differently. Days are measured by the sun, by tides, by the availability of water, and by the seasons. Life is deliberate, not hurried. Travelers learn to match this pace, to listen, observe, and absorb. The reward is not just visual beauty, but a sense of alignment with something enduring, something larger than oneself. Evening across Oman is a masterclass in subtlety. The sun sets in dramatic colors across mountains, deserts, and coasts, and shadows play across terraces, canyons, and waves. Silence deepens as the land cools, allowing reflection on the journey, both physical and spiritual. The stars emerge, brilliant and unpolluted, each one reminding travelers of the continuity of life, of history, and of the universe itself. The desert and mountains, the green hills of Dhofar, the sparkling coastline, and the welcoming villages all converge to teach the same lesson. Oman is a place of endurance, balance, and profound beauty. It is a nation that has preserved its culture, respected its environment, and created spaces where both life and history thrive in harmony. As travelers leave, Oman does not vanish from memory. The images of winding mountain roads, endless golden dunes, hidden emerald pools, and star-filled skies remain vivid. The lessons of patience, presence, and respect echo long after departure. Every sense has been engaged: sight, sound, touch, and even spirit. Oman does not offer grandeur for the sake of spectacle. It offers depth, continuity, and connection. It is a land where landscapes teach, where people embody grace, and where history is alive in stone, water, and wind. To experience Oman fully is to carry a piece of it within, long after the journey ends. As night deepens across Oman, the land seems to exhale, revealing layers of life and history that are often overlooked in the rush of travel. The silent deserts, flowing wadis, and rugged mountains all settle into a rhythm dictated not by clocks, but by nature itself. In this stillness, a deeper understanding of Oman emerges, a connection that goes beyond sightseeing and enters the realm of experience, emotion, and reflection. The desert, which dominates so much of the interior, becomes almost mystical under moonlight. Dunes take on a silver glow, shadows stretch in unpredictable shapes, and the wind whispers secrets of centuries past. Every grain of sand carries memory of travelers, traders, and Bedouins who have traversed these expanses for generations. Camels, moving steadily, silently, trace ancient routes that have survived thousands of years, linking human presence to the eternal landscape. The mountains, now dark and imposing against the night sky, hold a different kind of energy. Villages perched on cliffs are quiet, but the lives within are vibrant with tradition. Fires burn softly in homes, casting light on terraces where families gather. Streams and falaj channels reflect the moon, a subtle reminder of how water shapes life in the harshest places. Silence here is not emptiness. It is full of presence, of stories, and of lessons learned from centuries of coexistence with nature. Along the coastline, waves lap gently against cliffs and beaches, their rhythm steady and hypnotic. Fishing boats return with the day's catch, lanterns glowing faintly in the dark. The sea has always been Oman's lifeline, from ancient traders who sailed with frankincense and spices to modern fishermen who navigate the same waters with skill and respect. At night, the ocean becomes reflective, almost meditative, inviting contemplation of the vastness of the world and the smallness of individual existence within it. The Dhofar region, with its unique monsoon-fed greenery, transforms under the night sky as well. Mist rises from hidden valleys, creating a soft veil over forests and streams. The air is cool and fragrant, carrying the scent of damp earth, flowering shrubs, and frankincense trees. Wildlife stirs in subtle ways. Birds roost quietly. Insects hum their nocturnal chorus, and small mammals move unseen. The landscape is alive, yet calm, a perfect balance of energy and serenity. Oman's people, throughout these regions, continue to reflect the land's rhythms. Hospitality does not end with daylight. Bedouins and villagers alike remain attentive, offering shelter, tea, or conversation to those who travel far. Stories are shared quietly, often around fires or under starlit skies, blending oral history, legend, and lived experience. These narratives carry the essence of Oman, bridging past and present seamlessly. History itself is tangible under the night sky. Forts and watchtowers, once used to guard trade routes and settlements, stand silhouetted against the stars. Their presence reminds travelers that Oman's landscape has always been intertwined with human endeavor. Caravans, traders, and explorers all move through these lands with respect for its harshness and recognition of its bounty. Tonight, their memory feels almost alive, resonating in the stillness. Stars dominate the sky, more brilliant than in most parts of the world. The Milky Way stretches across the horizon, mirrored faintly in desert sands or calm waters. Each constellation tells stories of navigation, timekeeping, and myth, reminders of how intimately Oman has always been connected to the heavens. Travelers cannot help but feel small, yet simultaneously part of something much larger, a continuum that spans centuries and civilizations. Night in Oman is also a moment for introspection. The diversity of landscapes from mountains to deserts, wadis to coasts has shown that beauty is not uniform. It is complex, layered, and often hidden. It requires attention, patience, and humility. Experiencing Oman fully is a lesson in observation, in slowing down, and in embracing contrasts without judgment. As dawn begins to touch the horizon, the land prepares to transform again, signaling continuity and renewal. The deserts, mountains, and waters will once more greet the sun, each landscape revealing new colors, shadows, and details. Travelers, too, carry this transformation within them. A deeper sense of presence, a renewed awareness of nature's power, and an enduring memory of a land that refuses to be hurried or simplified. This final part of the journey emphasizes that Oman is more than its landmarks. It is timelessness, endurance, and harmony, a land that leaves a permanent mark not just on the eyes, but on the heart and mind. Every sound, every texture, every whisper of wind or splash of water contributes to an understanding of a nation that has balanced tradition and modernity, harshness and beauty, solitude and community with remarkable grace. As Oman awakens once more to the light of a new day, the land reveals its final lesson: resilience, continuity, and harmony with nature. From the golden dunes of the southern deserts to the jagged cliffs of the Hajar Mountains, from the tranquil Wadis to the lush greenery of Dhofar, every part of Oman has told its story, and now the land itself seems to pause, allowing travelers a moment of reflection before the journey concludes. The deserts, which dominate much of Oman's interior, seem almost reverent in the morning glow. Sunlight paints the dunes in hues of gold, copper, and soft amber, highlighting every curve, every ridge, and every subtle shadow. The wind shifts gently, reshaping the landscape in ways both dramatic and imperceptible. Life in the desert, camels, lizards, sparse vegetation continues quietly, perfectly adapted to an environment that is as unforgiving as it is beautiful. Here, patience is not a virtue, it is survival. In the mountains, terraces glisten with dew, and the Falaj channels sparkle like veins of life threading through stone. Villages perched on cliffs awaken slowly, their residents moving with purpose, yet without haste. Fields of pomegranates, roses, and apricots are tended with care, a reminder that human presence here is a partnership with nature rather than domination. The mountains teach endurance, foresight, and respect for forces larger than oneself. The Wadis, hidden valleys where water sustains life against the odds, reveal a delicate balance. Streams reflect sunlight, birds flit between trees, and the sound of trickling water becomes a meditative backdrop to human activity. Here, life thrives in unexpected places, and every living thing from the smallest insect to the tallest palm has adapted to coexist. Wadis remind travelers that beauty often exists in subtlety, in places where it is easy to overlook, and in resilience against challenges. Along the coastline, Oman's waters shine under the morning sun. Waves lap against cliffs and beaches, boats glide gently across bays, and the rhythm of the ocean dictates a tempo that feels both ancient and constant. Coastal villages prepare for another day, balancing tradition and modernity seamlessly. The sea has long been a lifeline for Oman, from the frankincense trade to today's fishing communities, and it continues to shape culture, economy, and daily life with unwavering influence. In Dhofar, the monsoon-fed hills glisten under fresh light. Mist rises from hidden valleys, waterfalls flow freely, and greenery stretches as far as the eye can see. The seasonal contrast here, compared to northern deserts, emphasizes Oman's remarkable diversity. Life flourishes where it seems impossible, teaching visitors that patience, adaptation, and respect for natural cycles are key to thriving in any environment. Oman's people embody the lessons of the land. Hospitality is instinctive, generosity is natural, and traditions are woven seamlessly into modern life. Whether in bustling Muscat or a remote desert village, every interaction reflects centuries of accumulated wisdom an understanding of balance, sustainability, and respect for both nature and neighbors. As the day unfolds, Oman becomes a mosaic of experiences. Each region, with its unique topography and climate, contributes to a larger narrative. The mountains speak of endurance, the deserts of humility, the Wadis of resilience, the coastlines of abundance, and Dhofar of renewal. Together, these landscapes form a living story, a journey that moves beyond mere observation into understanding. The sky itself becomes part of the experience. Sunrise and sunset paint the horizon in ever-changing colors. Clouds drift across mountains and valleys, and stars eventually appear to remind observers of time's infinite continuity. Light and shadow, heat and cool, silence and sound all are woven into Oman's identity, creating a sensory symphony that leaves no visitor untouched. Reflection is inevitable. Travelers realize that Oman is not defined by monuments or cities alone, but by the interplay between people, culture, and nature. It is a place that asks nothing, yet offers everything. Perspective, insight, and an enduring sense of wonder. To move through Oman is to engage with time itself, to witness continuity across centuries, and to understand that true beauty is measured in harmony and presence, not spectacle. As this journey draws to its close, Oman leaves an indelible mark. Lessons in patience, reverence, and coexistence. Images of landscapes that challenge and inspire, and a sense of connection to something far larger than any one human experience. Here, in the final light of day, it becomes clear that Oman is not merely a place to visit. It is a place to carry within. Long after the dunes, mountains, valleys, and seas have disappeared from view, Oman is timeless. Oman is alive. Oman is unforgettable. And as travelers depart, the land quietly endures, waiting to share its lessons, its beauty, and its soul with all who seek to truly see it. As the sun sets over Oman, painting deserts, mountains, and seas in hues of gold and crimson, one truth becomes undeniable. This is a land of enduring beauty, timeless traditions, and profound contrasts. From hidden valleys and flowing wadis to serene coastlines and majestic mountains, Oman leaves its mark not just on the eyes, but on the soul. The deserts whisper lessons of patience, the mountains speak of resilience, and the people embody harmony with nature. Oman is more than a destination. It is an experience, a story, a memory that stays with you long after you leave. And as night falls and stars blanket the sky, one thing is clear: Oman is unforgettable. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed exploring Prague as much as I enjoyed guiding you through it. If you found this travel guide helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more beautiful destinations from around the world. Got a favorite spot in Prague? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, safe travels and see you in the next video.